Relates to Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Act, the Shield and the Sword, decoding the SC/ST Act 1989. Imagine a law so powerful that it denies you anticipatory bail. A law so consensus that a single Supreme Court judgment on it triggered nationwide protests, resulting in the loss of lives and property, and a law so essential that without it, millions of Indians would have no shield against centuries of historical injustice. We are talking about the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention and Atrocities Act 1989. But is it a black law used for blackmail as critics claim, or is it the only thing standing between marginalized communities and systematic violence? Today, we go beyond the surface. We will analyze the sections, the 2015 and 2018 amendments, the landmark Supreme Court battles, and the ground reality. This is the complete analysis. Why was it needed? To understand 1989, we must look at 1955. India enacted the Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955 to abolish untouchability. But there was a loophole. The PCR Act covered untouchability but failed to cover atrocities. Example, if someone refused to serve tea to a Dalit, the PCR Act worked. But if a dominant caste mob burned down a Dalit settlement, the PCR Act was toothless and the Indian Penal Code was too generic. By the late 1980s, the government realized that crimes against scheduled caste and scheduled tribes were not just crimes, they were hate crimes designed to humiliate and suppress. This under Article 17, abolition and of untouchability of the Constitution, the Parliament enacted the POA Act in 1989. Key distinctions: the IPC punishes the act as, for example, murder. The SC/ST Act punishes the intention and the caste-based motivation behind the act. Decoding the act. Let us break down the legal machinery. The Act is fierce because of Section 3, which defines atrocities. It lists distinct offences specific to caste humiliation. Let us look at the most critical ones, especially after the 2015 amendment, which expanded this list. The dignity offences, Section 3, subsection 1. It is a crime to force an SC/ST member to eat or drink an inedible or obnoxious substances like human waste, visual, animated, silhouette. It is a crime to garland them with footwear, parade them naked, and tonsure, shave their heads. The economic offences, wrongfully occupying allotted to SC/STs or interfering with their cultivation rights. Real world context. This addresses the feudal practice of land grabbing from Dalit farmers. The social and political offences, forcing an SC/ST to vote for a specific candidate or imposing a social boycott, refusing to sell them goods or use common water sources. The gender-specific offences, crucial. Assaulting scheduled caste and scheduled tribes women with the intent to dishonor. Key edition 2015, dedicating an SC/ST woman as a Devdasi is now a specific atrocity under this act. Here is the game changer. Section 4 punishes public servants who are not SC/ST for neglecting their duties. If a police officer refuses to file an FIR under this act, he can go to jail for 6 months to 1 year. This acts as a check on the police bias. The 2018 legal earthquake. In 2018, the Supreme Court delivered a judgment in Subhas Kasinath Mahajan versus State of Maharashtra that shook the nation. The court's view cited rampant misuse of the act. They held that no automatic arrest approval required from SSP. Provision of anticipatory bail allowed preliminary inquiry by DSP required before FIR. The logic was to protect innocent citizens from blackmail. However, the Dalit community saw this as defanging the act. If a victim has to wait for a preliminary inquiry before an FIR, the evidence could disappear or they could be intimidated. The backlash was so severe that Parliament passed the 2018 Amendment Act, effectively overturning the Supreme Court's judgment. They inserted Section 18A. No preliminary inquiry needed for FIR. No approval needed for arrest. Anticipatory bail is explicitly denied. Section 18. The Supreme Court later reviewed its stance in Union of India versus State of Maharashtra 2019 and Prithviraj Chauhan versus Union of India 2020. Upholding the 2018 amendment, the apex court admitted that in a country rife with caste bias, these strict provisions are necessary for protective discrimination. Criminal analysis. Let us address the elephant in the room. Is the act misused? The argument for misuse: yes, there are cases where personal scores are settled by filing false atrocities cases. Critics argue that the denial of anticipatory bail violates Article 21, right to liberty. The counter argument: data. Conviction rate. According to NCRB data, the conviction rate under this act is abysmal, often below 30%. The reality: high acquittal rates don't always prove false cases. They often prove shoddy investigation, witness intimidation, or out-of-court compromises forced by powerful accused parties. The 2015 amendment introduced exclusive special courts to speed up trials. Section 14, yet pendency remains high. The act mandates investigation completion within 60 days, but in reality it takes months, sometimes years. Conclusion and the way forward. The SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act is a special law for a special problem. It is harsh because the reality of caste violence is harsh, while safeguards against misuse are important. We cannot ignore that for a Dalit in a remote village, this act is the only paper shield against a feudal sword. The solution: sensitization of police to ensure FIRs are filed without bias, witness protection, strictly implementing Section 15A, rights of victims and witnesses, timely justice, making special courts actually special and fast. Law can change behaviors, but only society can change mindsets. What do you think? It is the denial, or is the denial of anticipatory bail justified to protect the vulnerable? Let me know in your comments. Thanks, regards.